Alrighty, hey everyone, it's Garrison, and let's take a look at the new Family Fleet Edition, which is going to be this 19 Armada behind me. I actually completely filmed and edited this video, but wasn't satisfied with it, so I actually came back home just to refilm it for you guys since I was out of town for New Year's. But go ahead, stay tuned, and enjoy the video. But here's the 2019 Nissan Armada SL Premium that is going to be the new family hauler in the fleet. So this is going to be in the gun metallic exterior with the charcoal black leather interior, I think is the specific name. Kind of ended up with an Armada for a multitude of reasons. One is my mom has always had a long time infatuation with the QX56 and QX80 vehicles, and this one is almost a spitting image of those. She test drove a GX, and the deal breaker for the GX was the side swinging rear gate. And then Tahoe and Yukon, she test drove a Yukon, and those are about to be redesigned, so we didn't want to really wait another 6 to 8 months to get a decent price on one of those. So here we are, we have a 2019 Nissan Armada SL, no platinum. We just kind of had to work with current inventories, and this one was the color combo we wanted. Platinum would give you things like the cooled seats, heated steering wheel, heated rear seats and such like that. And then moving up to a QX56, you'd be spending a little over 80 grand to get the cooled seats, heated steering wheel and such like that. So it wasn't really easy to justify, considering we got over $11,000 off of the sticker price of this one, which is hard to complain about. But coming in, as you can see, that black leather interior, the brown piping, brown stitching. One thing my mom noticed right off the bat was she didn't like brown stitching, brown piping, and then the gray stitching on the dash. She says that was just inconsistent, but she'll get over that really quickly, I'm sure. But coming in, we'll go ahead and put our foot on the brake and our button to start. 680 miles so far on this one. And coming to your window sticker, we do have a 19 Armada SL 4x4. As you can see, that premium package does add things like your power sliding moonroof, intelligent distance control, just like your parking sensors, blind spot monitoring, rear backup intervention, so automatic braking, as well as the crossbars and carpeted mats for a total of $58,475. That destination charge is hefty at nearly $1,400, but I guess it's not easy to move these big boys around. As far as fuel economy goes, 13 city, 18 highway, 15 combined, nothing remarkable by any means, but that wasn't really a deciding factor for us. And then as you can see, we do have that 5.6 liter V8 that we're about to take a look at. And coming underneath the hood, we have that 5.6 liter dual overhead cam V8, 390 horsepower, 394 foot-pounds of torque, going to all four wheels through this full-time four-wheel drive system and a 7-speed automatic transmission, no CVT thankfully. Returning that 13, 18, 15 combined MPG. And this thing hauls. This engine is definitely more than adequate to move around the Armada. 0 to 60 in less than 6 seconds it's been clocked at. Realistically, you're looking around the mid-6s, low 7s. But Car and Driver did rate it at 5.9. This is such a massive vehicle to go that fast, so it's kind of a different sensation and way different than the Commander is. But we'll go ahead and check out the interior. Coming in, one notable thing that my mom loves are going to be the faux side vents. Even on the QX50 and QX56 and the QX80, she has loved those. I told her the car community in general hates non-functional vents, but she said, no, it just makes it look so sporty. Something that we could do without would be the V8 badge. Looks very tacked on, very AutoZone. I think it's kind of unnecessary, especially with the presence of this vehicle. You kind of assume it already has a V8 underneath the hood. But you do have your chrome side mirrors, turn signal indicators. You do have a 360 cam underneath your mirror right there. Auto dimming side mirrors, auto dimming rear view, such like that. Checking out your door panels, nice padded stitched leather up top, gathered leather right here. All automatic windows, power locks, power folding mirrors, power mirrors, 2-person memory settings, and then storage down below. As you can see, your fully powered driver's seat with power lumbar. It is going to be a heated driver's seat that's fully perforated. As we said before, cooled seats are an option. Down below here, you do have driver assistance tech as well as your power trunk and headlamp height. It's a little bit of a stale steering wheel from the Nissan fleet, but you do have your audio controls, Bluetooth and voice commands, and over on the right, you have your radar cruise right here, and then your Pro Pilot Assist button, basically kind of your automatic emergency braking, stuff like that, that you have to activate every time you get in, which is kind of antiquated. If anyone knows how to keep this on, definitely let me know. Automatic headlights, fog lights right over here, they are going to be bi-xenon HID headlights. And then over on the right, you do have your rain sensing wipers, which are a nice touch. One thing that we are missing from my mom daily driving the Commander is going to be auto high beams. I'm sure that that's reserved for the Infiniti brand, if not just the Platinum trims. But checking out your dashboard, this is by no means a super modern layout from Nissan or Infiniti standards, but it works and it's tried and true. As you can see, this is going to be your navigation menu, street address, point of interest, home, destination, stuff like that. And going to your apps right over here, you have your app garage, such as your like Nissan connected apps, clock, guide. Funny enough, you do have a driving performance thing right here that shows fuel consumption range, as well as things like your G meter, steering, and stuff like that, which I think is so funny. Going to your info right here, you do have certain settings like fuel economy, tire pressures, maintenance, Nissan connected drive, stuff like that. Status is one of my favorite parts of the home screen. It shows you your audio as well as your climate control settings. And then climate, you do have an area for that if you'd like to adjust that. Speaking of audio, this is going to be your premium Bose audio system with AM, FM, XM, CD, USB, Bluetooth streaming audio, and auxiliary inputs on this model. So, I mean, all the modern features that you would expect. Below that, you do have your hard key buttons for audio, hard key buttons for your tri-zone automatic climate control. So it's going to be your driver, front passenger, and your rear zone right here is activated. This little button right here is going to be your air scarves that I'll point out in the second row. It's a really neat feature that cools down the cabin or heats it up very quickly. And then down here we do have our dual stage heated seats, as well as a 12 volt and some USBs. In other markets you do have headrest drops and such like that right here, but I think these are just kind of blank in the US markets. And then this is going to be the 7-speed automatic transmission with manual shift mode. Reverse does give you your rear backup camera and 360 cams. Both mirrors do tilt down, thankfully. And then this is going to be your four-wheel drive controller. Just default is in auto, and then you have 4 high, 4 low with your various modes like tow haul, snow, and traction control. When Mom first got in, she thought this was similar to the remote touch interface, and she had such a disdain for that, so she was kind of turned off by this. But I was like, oh no, Mom, everything's controlled by the touchscreen, or you can use the little wheel down here if you would like to. Just storage cubbies right here. Right here you do have the center console, and it does open both ways, which is a funny touch. Glove box, damped with your owner's manuals in there. Coming to the brochure, you can see that the Platinum adds stuff like the upgraded wheels, heated outboard seats, stuff like that. Definitely pause if you'd like to read all of that. And then the Platinum Reserve does give you even larger wheels and such like that. But that about wraps it up. As far as coming up here, just auto dim rear view mirror with garage home link. You'd have your SOS safety connect, as well as sunglass storage, mirror and vanity lights. The exact same center console or console up top that we had in our Altima, minus these SOS safety connect and sunroof controls. And speaking of that sunroof, it is absolutely minuscule in comparison to the huge roof that they had available to throw in a panoramic or dual panel or anything like that. But once again, I do see that being reserved for at least a Platinum or even the Infiniti brand. But that about wraps it up for the front seat. As far as MPG averages, let's check out. As you can see, that's going to be 19 MPG so far. So we are getting better than the EPA estimates. So that's good to see. We'll go ahead and turn it off and check out the rear seat. Back here, obviously your step rails are going to be crucial into getting into such a high vehicle. Door panel materials do follow through with all your padded, stitched, gathered leather, automatic window and door storage. And as you can see, the piped rear seats. We don't have captain's chairs on this model. That is a Platinum option, unfortunately. I'd love captain's chairs. But sitting behind my 5'9" frame, at least a foot of room and then foot room underneath if you do not have umbrellas down there. As you can see down here, you also do have your climate zone, 2 charging USBs, and then even more 12 volts and a household outlet underneath my mom's jacket. 2 map seat pockets, And then up top you have all the vents, such as the rear air vents, lighting, the grab handle, and then these are going to be the air scarves right here. And so these blow air forward, which kind of helps cool down the cabin from the rear forward. And you do have the third row vents right there. Right here, since we don't have those captain's chairs, just a padded armrest with some cup holders right here. And then a full-size headrest right there. Belts for 3, of course, with this being such a wide SUV. Nice view of the dash right there. We'll briefly check out the third row cargo area, and then we'll wrap up the video. Third row is most easily accessed over here on the passenger side, so just go ahead and pull this lever, just kind of tumble the seat forward, and then right here you do have your power folding third row. I did go ahead and speed that up. That's one of my mom's major complaints, is having to hold down that button and not having an automatic mode or just some spring-loaded mechanisms. But as you can see, plenty of space back there. It is going to be belts for 3 as well, so it's a 3 + 3 + 2 configuration. As you can see, cup holders and then electronic releases on either side, as well as those cornering handles and coat hooks up top. Coming back to the cargo area, as you can see, it's already gotten a little dirty back here just from driving in the rain and such. Rear parking sensors, rear backup camera, rear cross traffic alert and such like that. But there is even adequate room behind that third row of seats. So as you can see, with both of them up, you would have all of this space. So if you had a full-time third row, you would still have plenty of room to throw groceries for a light trip, a weekend vacation potentially, and such like that. This is a neat little thing that came with the car. This is actually to go over the rear bumper when you're loading in cargo, prevent that from scratching up. And you can go ahead and drop that third row easily by pressing this button. Doubt the third row is going to get much use from us, but then dropping the second row as well shows an absolutely cavernous-like room, almost minivan-like room in the vehicle. Over here you do have the 12-volt outlet. And we'll go ahead and throw this back in here. A little bumper protector. And then we'll close up our hatch. No foot actuated tailgate. Once again, kind of an antiquated design, comparatively speaking. But that about wraps it up for the Nissan Armada that's going to be taking the place of my mom's daily driving of the Commander. As of now, the Commander is still in the garage. That's just going to be a supplementary vehicle for my dad, since we do also have the Elantra. We traded in the ES just because the ES had been sitting for about 8 months ever since we did get the Elantra, and it didn't make much sense for it to continue sitting while my mom is driving an older, more unreliable SUV such as the Commander. So we went ahead and allocated those funds towards the Armada, giving my mom something a little bit nicer, a little bit more reliable, or hopefully a lot more reliable, and go ahead and let her treat herself with this. Feel free to follow the Instagram. If you didn't see the little teaser that I posted previously, that was kind of leaked on Instagram and you guys knew before anyone else. So that is just going to be Think Outside the Cube. But otherwise, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye now.